You know, there are songs that become hits, and then there are songs that become part of culture. The kind of songs that can fill a dance floor, ignite a crowd, and bring generations together with just a few seconds of music. Tonight's guest created one of those records, but his story is much bigger than one song. It's a story rooted in Washington, D.C., built through decades of entertaining audiences, representing go-go culture, and helping shape the soundtrack of generations. Tonight, we're talking music, longevity, culture, and the journey behind one of the most recognizable voices in hip-hop and go-go history. Let's get into it. Smokin' Ice begins now.
Smoke and ice, twice as nice. I'm your vice. Smoke and ice.
Welcome to Smoke and Ice with Kelly Allen. This is the podcast where you're not only informed, but entertained. Sit back, relax, and remember, where there's smoke, there's fire, and you can't chill without ice. Now, here's your host, Kelly Allen.
Smoke and ice.
You have entered another episode of Smoke and Ice, where smoke meets sophistication and ice meets intensity. I'm Kelly, and tonight's guest is a rapper, DJ, producer, entertainer, and cultural icon whose influence spans more than 4 decades. Raised in Washington, D.C., he became one of the most recognizable voices to emerge from the city's legendary go-go scenes while helping bridge the gap between go-go and mainstream hip-hop. His music has energized parties, sporting events, concerts, celebrations around the world, and his impact on popular culture continues to be felt today. While many know him for one of the most recognizable crowd anthems ever recorded. It was one of my favorites. His career includes decades of performing, producing, and representing the unique sound and spirit of Washington, D.C. Tonight, we're talking about his journey, the culture, the music, and the legacy. Please help me welcome to Smoke and Ice, DJ Kool. Welcome.
Yes, God bless.
Yes, I love it. So listen, thank you so much for being here with us here on Smoke and Ice. It is a pleasure. And let me tell you something, I sweated out many of my blowouts to some of your songs, to some of your music. I love it. You know, we go in the club cute, but we come out a little bit extra. But it's because the music was so good and you did just that. And we're going to get into all of that, but we're going to start from the beginning and we're going to go on. So like I said, let's start at the beginning. Growing up in Washington, D.C., what was it that first sparked your love for music?
Just coming from a musical household, just hearing the jazz and blues records that my father was playing, listening to the gospel music that my mother was playing, in the household early on.
I love it. So what was the musical scene like when you were coming up?
I mean, in the 60s, a lot of R&B, blues. In the 70s, here comes the, funk and disco music. You know what I mean? And so, and in the 80s, a lot of great funk records, R&B records. Here comes hip hop in the 80s or late 70s. But
right.
Yeah, so.
Right.
And go-go in the late 70s.
That part. And we're going to talk about that because I love go-go, but we're not going to get there yet. I'm going to get a little ahead of myself. But we talked about several decades. You said the 60s, 70s, 80s. And then we even get into the 90s. What were some of your earlier influences that just said, I want to do that?
One of my earliest musical influences on the go-go side was Chuck Brown. Also, James Brown, even before Chuck Brown.
Right.
As far as what happened as far as hip-hop is concerned, or who I was influenced by as far as hip-hop is concerned, first and foremost, there was a local club DJ that came up in this area in the 70s that I seen, and his name was Maniac McLeod. That was his DJ handle. And he was the first active club DJ that I seen around 1975, 76. The first hip hop artist that I was inspired by was probably Grandmaster Flash as a DJ, and Melly Mel from Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five as an MC.
Right. Oh my gosh. Those amazing influences. And that just takes me back to a time when there was a switch. Because before then it was more R&B. You had a lot of the slow jams, but we were bringing it into a different era at that time where we were bringing in new influences. So that's so great that those were influences for you. Did you always know that you wanted to perform, or did it evolve over time?
It kind of evolved. I got into DJing. I don't know. I guess I want to use that as a stepping stone to become an artist. That was my thought process early on. Before hip hop came into my life, my musical aspirations were to learn how to play keyboards, because I wanted to play keyboards with Parliament Funkadelic. I wanted to play alongside Bernie Worrell.
Right. Oh God.
But then here comes hip hop.
Right. Right. It gave us a
And
whole new
go-go.
outlook.
And so
And
that
go-go.
whole thing changed.
Listen.
Yes.
So I'm from Buffalo, New York. And so go-go was transplanted to different places. The first time that I heard go-go, I knew that was something that just touched me in a way. And like, you have to just you have to be in it, and you have to love it, because it's an experience. It's not just music, it's an experience all the time. And it's just everything that goes with it. So I was always a go-go fan, and not even from the DC area. I'm from Western New York, closer to Canada than I am anything else from where I live. But it moved because it was so great. As people went different places, they brought go-go there. So I'm so glad you said that, because we're going to get into that. So for people who did not grow up around it, explain what go-go means to Washington, D.C.
Go-go is definitely the heartbeat of our city. As they used to say back in the day, it is the sound of the city. It is a form of funk music. That's probably one of the best ways that I could describe it. Driven by percussion. The percussion instruments are on top.
Right.
In go-go. That's what's driving the whole sound. You know what I mean? And you can put anything with those particular percussion instruments. You can put any type of music on top of it, as long as you got the drums and all the rest of the, the rhythm instruments going.
It is what it is.
You can go any way you want to go. You can play Mary Had a Little Lamb over go-go beat to make it hot.
Right. So I was a dance major, Buffalo Academy of Visual Performing Arts. I'm gonna throw that out there real quick. But percussion is what it drives you. It what gives movement. And so hearing that, it just allows people to just get into their zone and just move. And I think that's what drew me to that genre of music. It was just so amazing to me. And I was like, why is this not, like, why do we not hear this on our local radio station? Why do I have to hear this? Why do I have to get like someone's underground tape to hear this music? And it took a while, but it actually crossed over, and it was so great. And I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm so sorry, because I get excited about go-go. I really do. I really do. But why has this genre remained so important to the city for generations? For those who don't know.
I mean, I'm sorry?
For those who don't know, explain why it has become so important for the generations.
Well, I mean, it's a homegrown sound. You know what I mean? Those of us that are real native Washingtonians, this is the sound that we grew up with, listening to Chuck Brown. But first and foremost, Washington, D.C. has always been a live music town, even before the inception of go-go music. It was always live music going on here. We went through our funk music era, our disco music era. Even before that, we went through the doo-wop music era. all of that. So Washington, D.C., first and foremost, has always been a live music town. So then when we come up with our own sound, I mean, like, that's no brainer right there. You know what I mean?
Right. So do you feel like that's why that's what made the difference, is to come up with your own sound, or how do you describe musically why go-go became so different from everything else? Because you did say it's a live music city, and live music has always been great. I hate the fact that right now live music has taken a back seat to everything digital. Digital is so easy to do, but it loses the essence of that live sound of someone actually playing it, because you've got everything that's in that live sound.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess to keep it simple, you can't beat live. I mean, you just cannot beat it. I'm a DJ by trade, you know what I mean? And I've heard a lot of amazing DJs, and that would be what you would call an analog sound, you know what I mean, when we was using records and stuff like that. But you still cannot beat live musicianship. You just cannot, and it's because of the feeling that the musicians are putting into what they're doing musically, and at the end of the day, you can't beat it. I don't care what's going on. You know, you got all this electronic music going on nowadays, and that's fine and dandy, with all the production that goes on around that. But still, you got a bunch of good live musicians. I mean, people that are really masters of their craft up there playing their instruments. Can't touch that.
You cannot.
Just cannot. Like, sonically, you can't mess with that.
You can't, because it's soul involved in live musicianship that you don't get through AI or through any type of program. You know, you miss all of that, and the soul is what makes the music, because it drives the person to feel exactly what that person who was playing that instrument was trying to say. And I wish we get back to it, but I digress. I digress.
Well, I mean, what you said, I think you should drink to that. I think that was a great statement. You got all them drinks over there. You go. Don't drink too much of that, though, because this conversation might go in a different direction. So.
Listen, I know how to hold my own until the end. So
I know that's right.
So do you think, starting in go-go, that go-go receives the respect it deserves nationally?
For the most part, yes. But see, we've always had a problem, as far as I'm concerned, on our business side. I don't think this music has ever been marketed or promoted the way that it should be. And a lot of that is due in part to the fact that a lot of people just don't know what to do with it. I'm like, this is a live band. I mean, I don't know. It's so foreign to some folks, especially nowadays. You know what I mean?
It is. And I think, like you said, people don't know what to do with it, but there are other genres of music that make it that people don't know what to do with it. I think there's a fear that it might not be marketable, but it's done. Listen, anything that we do, okay, we can go over to Europe and they love it. They love us over in Europe. It takes it to get to Europe for us here in the States to say, oh, okay, it's doing well over there, let's bring it here. Why not take our own homegrown stuff and do what we need to do with it, instead of it having to go to Europe first and then come back here? That's the problem. We are a reactionary market here, not a proactive market where we're already grabbing what it is and allowing our own people to make it. We have to go across the water, the pond as they call it, to do anything. And so that bothers me just slightly, but I don't care, because money is money. It's green anywhere it comes from.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you know what I mean? And a lot of people just feel what they don't understand.
That
you know what I mean? So they just assume go ahead and brush it off, as opposed to trying to gain some sort of understanding about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or come and see it. That's all you got to do. Just come and see Go-Go live.
Because
And that's
it's
it.
such an experience. It is so involved, and it's so call and response, and it's so it's just not the artists that are doing it. You know, the crowd is also involved in it. So it's just it's a whole, like I said, it's experience.
There is an energy transfer that's going on, especially when you involve the art of call and response.
Right.
Okay. And you got this energy transfer that's going on back and forth with the audience and the musicians, and then the music that the musicians are playing has got everybody's head going like this because of the patterns in the percussion instruments and all this all kind of stuff. And kind of hard to deny when you got that type of energy going around and around in the room, unless you. I know people that cannot physically hear, right? That are deaf or what have you, but they could feel that music. You could feel it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Because that drum beat, it goes in the floors, it goes in the tables, it goes in. So if you're holding on to something, if you're standing there, you can feel it. And it's
That's
just
right.
an amazing, amazing, amazing thing. And I'm so glad that you said that. And since we're talking about the struggles of getting this into mainstream and everything else, you spent many years grinding before mainstream success came. What lessons did those early years teach you?
I mean, you got to stick with it. You know, I've been through some stuff in this industry. You know what I mean? And people, okay, to kind of put everything in perspective, next year will be 50 years that I've been a part of this industry professionally. 50 years. I started in 1977. And I've seen ups and I've seen downs. You know what I mean? But thank God we got way more wins than losses. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you just got to believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, and you got to stick with it. And that's what I did. And that's what I will continue to do until it's my time to transition.
Yeah, and hopefully that is no time soon, because we're gonna keep that.
Oh, we got
plenty of time and more energy and more music coming from you. I believe that, and I love that, because so many people now want to just give up. They don't want to stick with it. They want that microwave mentality, because we've raised this new generation to feel like if it don't happen now, it's not going to happen for you. But there's time that has to be put in. There's patience that has to be had. And if you don't have any of that, then guess what? You're going to give up on something that could be better than anything else. You're sending yourself to the left, you know, and packing your bags and going on with it. And it's just such a horrible, horrible thing for people, for our youth to have, because we have some really talented people that are coming up. It's a different sound that I got to get used to. So I may be telling my age just a little bit, but it's still something to be heard. There's a message there, and we need you to just stick around. If anyone is listening, stick around and stick to it, and don't give up so fast. Well,
if this is what you really believe, see, a lot of people, how can I say this? It's got to be in your heart, right? Not in your head. You know what I mean? Because your thoughts, depending on who you are, your thoughts can change so fast. But if it's something that's really in your heart, something that you really, really believe in, then you're going to stick to it. That's just my, thoughts on that.
You know what? Yes, if it's something, but it depends on who you have in your camp too. A lot of times we can have people who are naysayers and will try and push you out. And if you're not strong enough, you'll allow those people to push you out of where you're supposed to be, because they will say, well, you're wasting too much time. You don't have the money. You don't have the it thing that they feel like it is, even if you have it. And so we have to surround ourselves by the right people. And if you're not strong enough, you will put the wrong people in your camp and will screw yourself up something royally. That is important to have the right people behind you that believe in what it is that you're doing. I love it. All right, well, we're going to pause this amazing conversation for just a moment because this is the part of the show that truly makes Smoking Ice what it is. Tonight, we're featuring Breckenridge Bourbon Whiskey, a bourbon that has quietly built a reputation for delivering exceptional quality from one of the highest altitude distilleries in the world. Crafted in the Rocky Mountains of Colorado by the award-winning Breckenridge Distillery, this bourbon combines traditional Kentucky-style craftsmanship with the unique climate of character of the Rockies. On the nose, you're welcomed by aromas of vanilla bean, butterscotch, caramel, and toasted oak, with subtle hints of dried fruit and baking spices. The palate is smooth and balanced, offering layers of honey, brown sugar, vanilla, light cinnamon, and roasted oak. As it develops, you'll notice delicate notes of orange peel and warm spice that adds complexity without overpowering this experience. The finish is long, warming, and remarkably smooth, leaving behind lingering notes of cinnamon, caramel, spice, and soft oak. What makes Breckenridge stand out is the ability to be approachable by newer bourbon drinkers while still offering enough depth and character to satisfy seasoned enthusiasts. It works. And that's exactly what we're enjoying tonight here on Smoke and Ice. So let's go ahead and pour it. So as you know, I've already tried it before I went on ahead and poured it because I wanted to make sure that I was not lying when I gave it. But cheers to all of you. And make sure that if you are drinking and not at home, that you are responsible, because that's what we do here is responsibility. Wow. So I cheat and I sip before because I want to make sure that you get every note, everything that I give. But this is actually what it is, and I enjoy it every time. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell you guys. But I like it. Or like I like to say, I love it. If you watch. So without the smoke, there is no ice. Tonight's featured cigar is the Diaz de Gloria by My Father Cigars, a premium Nicaraguan cigar created by the legendary cigar maker Jose Pepin Garcia. The name Diaz de Gloria, which translates to Days of Glory, is a tribute to the golden era of Cuban cigar making before the Garcia family left Cuba. This cigar delivers a rich, medium to full-bodied smoking experience that both refined and complex. From the first draw, you'll notice notes of cedar, earth, roasted nuts, black pepper, leather, and subtle sweetness. As this cigar develops, oh my gosh, it goes deeper with flavors of espresso, cocoa, and baking spices as they begin to emerge, creating a layer of evolving profile. The wrapper is Nicaraguan, sun-grown Habano. The binder is Nicaraguan. The filler is Nicaraguan, right? The construction is flawless, producing a creamy smoke output with exceptional balance and complexity from start to finish. So now let's get into the flavor science of how this cigar and this bourbon goes together. But before we do that, I'm going to light up so that I can enjoy together before I let you know. Oh my. I enjoy my cigars, especially when they're great ones. So now, here's where the flavor science comes in. This pairing works because both the bourbon and cigar share a foundation of warmth, spice, and natural sweetness. Yet, they approach those flavors from different directions. The vanilla, caramel, and honey notes found in the Breckenridge bourbon soften and elevate the cigar's earthier characteristics, creating a smoother overall experience. Meanwhile, the cigar's pepper, cedar, leather, and espresso notes bring forward some of the bourbon's hidden spice elements, making the whiskey more complex with each sip. How do they complement each other? The bourbon sweetness acts almost like a seasoning for the cigar, enhancing the cocoa, roasted nut, and baking spices, while smoothing out some of the cigar's stronger pepper components. The contrasting notes, where the bourbon leans toward caramel, vanilla, and honey sweetness, the cigar introduces earthy, leather, black pepper, and espresso. These contrasting families create tension on the palate that keeps the experience interesting from the beginning to the end. Overall pairing experience, this is a beautiful balanced pairing that combines sophistication and strength. Neither the bourbon nor the cigar dominates the other. Instead, they work together to create a layered, evolving experience that rewards both the sip and the draw. The bourbon provides elegance, the cigar provides depth. Together, they create exactly the kind of experience that defines Smoke and Ice. This is exactly what Smoke and Ice is all about. Real conversation, a bold cigar, and an experience that stays with you. Because when everything comes together like this, it's not just something you watch, it's something you feel. Smoke and Ice continues next.
Hi, I'm Kelly Allen. Join me each weekday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for Midday Energy Rush on Pt1 I'll bring you all your favorite music from every genre and every decade, plus comedy and positive thoughts all in one place. Go to Pt365.net and you won't be disappointed. That's Pt365.net. We're positively different.
Positively different. Positive 365.
Now let's get back into this conversation with DJ Kool, because there is more right here. We have to surround ourselves by the right people. And if you're not strong enough, you will put the wrong people in your camp and will screw yourself up something royally. That is important to have the right people behind you that believe in what it is that you're doing. And that's something that a lot of people don't understand.
I think that that starts, at least in my opinion, that starts with having a strong spiritual base. You know what I mean? To make sure that, I guess, within your prayer regimen, you pray to have the right people come across your path that are going to be there for you, that are really there for you,
Right.
and not using you as some sort of, I don't know, some sort of instrument or what have you to make money off of, and you know.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I've done. Like, case in point, I've been with my manager now, Walt Reeder Jr. I've been with him for 30 years. We got together in 1996. All before then, my career was, I mean, thank God, you know, for the music and everything. And thank God that I was able to produce music that created a particular amount of staying power, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
But business-wise, you know what I mean? I didn't really start getting to that next level until I got with Walt. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. I wouldn't trade him for nothing in the world. And he knows that.
Yes, and it takes that
We've
right
been together
person
for 30 years. This year, we're celebrating 30 years together.
Awesome. I love that, because it takes that right individual to be in your corner to take you to that next level and the next level and the next level. Not just one, but to keep going until you. I don't believe in a cap. I believe you can keep going until you feel that you can't go anymore. So you just keep going, and it takes that person that says, you got it, I got you, we're gonna do this together. And I love that for him. So what did performing live teach you about connecting with an audience? Because you do that well.
Thank you. Except that having fun.
Okay.
I have an outward going personality anyway. So you can't put me in front of enough people. You really can't. And I guess it's because of the fact that I use the art of call and response so much in my music and just, what I do as a DJ and everything. I'm just up there having fun. I'm not even thinking about it.
And it was
Once
fun.
again, I'm transferring energy. We're just transferring energy back and forth.
Listen, I told you,
You know,
just
people
sweat it out
always
my
are cool.
hair.
I can up there and do that. So I'm just up there having a ball. I see you having fun, I'm having fun. I feel if you see me having fun, then you are having fun. And we're both having fun. And everybody's having fun.
Look,
That's all about. I'm just having a good time.
you done sweated me out my hair and had me come out my shoes. So I listen, I know it's all about fun. So how important was consistency to your success?
I'm sorry?
How important was the consistency to your success?
I mean, it's everything. You can't stop.
Right?
Why would you stop?
Listen,
You gotta keep going. You gotta, as they say, ride until the wheels fall off.
that part.
I absolutely believe in that.
So
I mean, if you want to have a particular level of success, if you want to have a particular level of longevity, which I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think a lot of these artists that are coming out nowadays, they don't care about longevity. They want this quick fix. They want this microwave thing going on and all that. I'm like, no, it does not work like that.
I think they seek
For real.
longevity.
Like,
Right, and I think they seek longevity, but what the problem is that they're seeking the now and not what's going to play for years. See, everything that you've put out, it was good then, it's good now, and 10, 20 years from now, it's still going to be out there, and it's still going to be this generation that I might not even see. It's still going to be jamming to the stuff that you put out, and the reason why is because it had substance. It wasn't... These artists now, they're doing something, and it's the now thing, right? But it has to be something that is not trendy, because the trend is only for right now.
that's right.
You need to have it where it is still now, but it can be the 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. It's not just for this moment. Stop putting in stuff that's being said right now, because guess what? You're going to date your stuff. You need to make it where it's generationally open for whoever wants to hear, because the beat is dope, the lyrics are hot, and it's got people wanting to get on the dance floor from now until whenever.
So check this out. Let's look at a song like "The Message" by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five.
Mm-hmm.
This song was what, 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
If you just take all the music away and just listen to all the lyrics, or just get the lyric sheet of that song and just read the lyrics, you will see that the lyrics that Melly Mel wrote for that song apply to what was going on in the hood back then. And it's still going on in the hood right now.
That part.
So once again, he created something that is going to have longevity because he told the truth. He spoke on something that was actually going on.
Right.
Now me, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm not pinning anything like that. I'm just trying to make sure that I make, to use the term that they use nowadays, high vibrational music.
Right.
Music that makes you feel good. Music that makes you want to, throw your hands in the air and wave like you just don't care, as we used to say back in the day.
Right.
That's what all my stuff is all about. I'm a DJ, so that's the angle that I'm going to always come from. I'm trying to make you feel good. And that's it. And I think as long as you come with the right approach, musically, you can make timeless music. As opposed to, you out here saying a whole bunch of foolishness, with nothing but negativity sprinkled all over it. Like, after a while, man, what I'm saying, nobody got time for. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Once your
That's
dope
foolishness.
beat is overscored by what you're saying, then you lose credibility, you lose longevity. Because only so many people are going to keep listening to that beat. They're going to start listening to what you're saying. And if it's only for right now, it's going to go out of style. So let's start creating stuff that has longevity. It's fine. We all got a story to tell, but make sure you tell that story to where it can be, it makes sense over decades, over, you know, even years. You know, let's not jump it too far to decades. Let's try and make it make sense over years. And that's what we miss. And you know, we don't have a lot of the managers that kind of guide these artists through that. They're just like, okay, let me get you this immediate money right now. And in 5 years, you might be irrelevant. Nobody might want to listen to you anymore, but I made you this money right now. So do what you do with it. And who wants that? Anything that you do,
it'll be less than 5 years for some of them.
Right. I'm giving too much. But here's the thing is, if you really want to be successful, make sure you set up a plan to be further than 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and so much more. And then have a game plan into, if this is really what you want, get into the other facets of this and bringing someone else over, get into management, get into producing music, get into this, because you're not always going to be that same young person that was telling this story. Let's get it. Let's get the money because it's there. You know, let's stop being instant. We're not ramen. We act like we're ramen noodles. We're real quick, you know, and a quick meal. But let's stop being ramen noodles. Let's be something else. So I don't know. Well, looking back, what was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome?
I don't know. I guess the fact that I've never been marketed and promoted properly as an artist. Even when I got on what I would like to say my the most successful label that I was on, which was American Records, which was being distributed by Warner Brothers at the time. I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I was telling him, I said, man, my music is bigger than me. And that's due to a lack of the proper marketing and promotion of an artist. If I was as big, like as an artist, right? As my song, let's say as Music Ain't Loud Enough, I wouldn't be able to come outside. I would not.
Right.
So I tell people this. I say, if you put 100 people in a room and say, and ask them, who is DJ Kool? I think 100% of them would probably know, or at least have heard once in their life, the song Let Me Clear My Throat.
Right.
In my opinion, I would say maybe 75% of them maybe would know the name attached to that song. Right? Well, the artist name, you know, attached to that song.
Right.
I would say maybe 25% of them would know what I look like. And that is a gift and a curse. The gift of it is, well, the curse is, how can I say this? Maybe I shouldn't have said it's the gift and the curse, but in a particular way it is. The gift of it is I have been able to establish a particular amount of longevity within that, right? Because a lot of people, when they see me, they be like, what? That's you? Oh my God. You know, it's that.
Right.
And so, I don't know. It's a strange space to be in. I guess that's what I'm trying to say for lack of a better term.
It's a strange space, but you had the ability, and I don't know how you want to take this, but you had the ability to still live your life without being obstructed from living your life. Because the more people that recognize you, you can't just be out there. You can't go to Walmart. You can't go to Target. You can't go anywhere without someone interrupting your day, right? But it does take away from you, on the other hand, by saying you enjoy my stuff, but you don't even know who I am. So that's why it's that dichotomy of a gift and a curse.
Right.
Because it's just like, okay, I can live my life, but do I really want to? Like, I kind of want you to know the stuff that you jamming to when you in the car, or when you in the club, or when you in this, that's me. You know, so I get that. But how many people wish they had the autonomy of not being, you know, they can't live their life. They can't just walk out the house because they're, you know, somebody is intruding their space and their peace. Because we all need
Well,
that
I know
peace.
Michael Jackson did. He didn't like it.
Right?
He always wanted to live a regular life, but God was like, no, I didn't put you here for that.
That part. Yeah.
So go put a disguise on and go out there.
Right.
But but see, a person like me, that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I'm one of the few artists that love the attention of my audience.
Gotcha.
I'm one of the few artists that as soon as I get off stage as a performer, or as soon as I finish a DJ set or what have you, if I'm, you know, performing as a DJ, I go out and I take pictures with everybody.
Gotcha. I
And
love
people
that.
be looking at me like I'm crazy, like, wow, you out here? I don't care how many people out there. I'm coming out here and take pictures with you because this is my way of saying thank you for your support.
I love that. I love that. Because so many people are
And
like,
a lot of artists,
no.
I know a lot of cats that will not do that at all, because some of them, I can't say this about all of them, but some of them, they develop that little God complex and whatnot, you know, and I think that's foolish, because your gift can be taken away from you in the blink of an eye.
yeah.
And it can happen in front of everybody. I've seen that happen to people. People that I won't even mention right now, but very famous people.
Right. And I think
Because they thought they were so
big that they could not be, and at the end of the day, no matter how great you are, the people still have to make you great. So if you don't show
That's it.
appreciation, they will turn on you in the drop of a hat. And we've seen that over and over and over again. It's what we call now cancel society.
Yeah,
You know, we'll cancel somebody real quick. And and you become a cancer. So maybe that's why that word slipped out of my mouth. But it's the cancel society that we do so much. Well, you mentioned your first album entitled "The Music Ain't Loud Enough." It contained 18 cuts, came out in the 1990s. Tell us about that project and how you came out with it.
Shout out to, and rest in peace, going out to Deke DeBerry. He was an independent record promoter, but he also owned an independent label called Creative Funk Music, CFM Records. And he used to come to one of the clubs that I was playing at the time. A club was called The Room. It was on 12th and New York Avenue in Northwest DC at the time. This was probably early 80s. And he would always come to the club every weekend with a handful of records that he had gotten from different record labels. You know, and he was going around to different clubs and servicing, as we used to call it, servicing the DJs. Here's the new stuff that just came out. So one night he was like, "Kool, you ever thought about, have you ever done any work in a studio?" I said, "Yeah, I've been in there a few times working with a few artists, you know, assisting with mixes and stuff like that." He said, "Well, man, I have a group called 0 Hour. They were an R&B group, and he wanted me to come in and, I guess, assist on the actual mix of the record with the mix engineer that was there at the time." To make a long story short, while I was in, they said, "Man, you ever thought about making records?" I said, "Well, yes. I wanted to use DJing as a stepping stone to become an artist." He said, "Right, I'm gonna give you an opportunity." So I was excited about that. I was like, "Wow!" So I went home, and remember how Prince says, what is it? In 1999, I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if I go astray.
Right.
I tripped the whole concept for The Music Ain't Loud Enough. Every sample, the whole arrangement, all the lyrics in all 3 16-bar verses at the time. the whole thing.
Wow.
Came back. Shout out to Wiz. He's right there with you. He was my
Yes.
mix engineer, right?
He is.
At the time. And he was like, cool, man, you came in here with all these records and whatnot. I said, yeah, this is what we doing. So we taking a piece of this, then we putting it with this, taking a piece of that, putting it with that. And he sat up there looking at me like we crazy, but this thing is coming together. He's like, oh, yeah. And the actual hook or the chorus of the record, the music ain't loud enough. If you hear us say, music ain't loud enough, that is myself and both of my god sisters, Judy and Sharice. We did that part live on the record, and then to pump up the volume. That was a sample from Eric B. and Rakim.
Right.
And so, yeah, all samples.
Nice.
Go-Go records. I sampled 3 Go-Go records. I sampled the Cabbage Patch by EU. That was the beat that you hear going throughout the song. I sampled a little bit of Fourth Gear from was that Fourth Gear? Yeah, Fourth Gear from Trouble Funk. That was in the hook, like up under there in the hook. And I sampled a little bass sample from Junkyard Band from Sardines, and with a bunch of other samples, and came up with that song. And that was my formula. That was my production formula, using all samples because I am a DJ, and this is what I know. I'm not a musician.
Hey guys, this episode deserves a part 2. So please come back next week so we'll have a great pour, great smoke, and continued great conversation. We're Smoking Ice Podcast. We'll see you soon.
Smoke and ice, twice as nice. I'm your vice. Smoke and ice.
We hope you've enjoyed Smoke and Ice with Kelly Allen. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Tell a friend so they too can be informed and entertained. For more information about the show, go to smokeandice.net.